The first one, we hadn't been there but about 2 weeks. And we went out at the river to baptize over 120 people. And so there were three of us are going to do the baptizing. So we all lined up to baptize 3 at a time, come out 3 more, the same way. And then we finished all 20 of them. And so I went in to do my section of it, baptized, and you know, it was a fiasco from the first thing. Every one of them had bathed themselves with ivory soap, and they were just slick as, you know, you grab it on them, you just couldn't get hold of them. And so the first one just kind of fell backwards in the water, and I drug her out, got her out, and then we had the words, and another one came in, and she was halfway decent. The third one just dropped straight down below my feet, and I finally reached down and got her up. At that time, I'd had about all the 3 I needed, and I got out, and all the missionaries broke out laughing, grabbing their cameras and taking a shot from everything, because I had on my polka dot shorts. And my khakis just, you can see the polka dots everywhere. And that was the fun of that thing. Then there was another time that we were working in the same place out of Nairobi, and went out to a place, and we were going to baptize about 16 women outside of, and Tim, this is the place where you and James Marvin used to ride the goats. You rode out there. Right. We went down at the bottom of it, and I walked out there, and the pastor was wearing some kind of a semi-tux or something. And I asked him, I said, his name was William Ngozi. And I said, William, why are you dressed like that? Aren't you going to help? And he said, no, Bona, I'm not going in the water. And I said, why aren't you going in the water? He said, because it's Belhartia water. And I said, you mean it's good enough for me, but not for you? And he said, that's right. That's why you came this far distance to do this. And I said, okay, Bona. I'll go out and baptize them. Went out there and just kind of splashed them down, got them out of there. Went in, and they had this little kind of a cage place where you could change your clothes. You could see through it and anything else. But at that time, I didn't care if I walked out nude. I was just so hacked at him for not coming to help me at all doing it. That's William Ngozi's story. Nana is the next one. Do I move up the country?
To the mouth. After you were at the hospital.
Oh, yes. One of the times I'd gone because the doctor had felt like I was having a kidney malfunction. And so he took me and put me in the hospital, and they did all kinds of tests. And the last one they did, I was just sitting there, and they said, okay, Bona, we're going to let you take a urinate in this little thing, in the urinal. And I said, okay. And there were 7 women standing around there as I was just sitting there with that thing. And finally, I said, you really think I'm going to do this with y'all standing around here? They said, what's wrong, Bona? And I said, well, if you're doing that, I'll never take a leak. I'll still be standing here when the world comes in. I said, you all just get outside, and I'll take a leak. So I did, and the next Sunday, we went to baptize up on the Mao. And it was a really not a good place, and the water was bad, and the mud was deep, and when I got out, I was also hacked anyway, and I walked out, and there was nothing around to get behind. I mean, no bush, no tree. And off about 50 yards was this little bitty bush. And I walked over, and I thought to myself, what the heck am I worrying about? I just stood up there with all these black women watching me just strip off when I was doing this thing with my kidneys. So why am I worried about this? And so I just stripped off my clothes and put on my other clothes and walked out. That was not a good experience. We went to the next one. We went, this was a little bit later in my ministry, was one where we were doing on the Mao again. They told me as I went in, I said, guys, how deep is that water out there? There's a little creek river coming down. How deep is that? Oh, boy, it's about, up to thigh, a little bit above that, I said, you sure? Oh, yeah, boy, we know how deep it is. We've been here before. And so I got out and took 2 steps and went right up to my chest, and cold ice water that came out. Oh, did they laugh. Laugh. Now I could have got, if I had a stick, I'd have hit one of them for telling me that. But I went ahead and baptized them, got them out, and boy, I had the fun of just splashing them down that cold water. Just. But, I didn't baptize the preachers. That was the bad luck. The last one I'm going to tell you about is one that I'll never forget my wife and forgive her for what she did. We were baptizing at Isoli, and we were baptized in a coffee vat. And it was a nice thing. Everything looked good, And so I went out there and was walking around and with the 2 pastors, and At this time, my back was probably as bad as it ever had been. And I was walking around, they said, Buona, we're going to give you the break. You don't have to get inside and baptize them. You can just kind of help them out. Well, I never thought about it, but you have to haul them out of that thing.
Oh, man.
And so I was standing there by the baptistry, I mean, that coffee vat, looking around. I looked at this woman. I knew who she was. She was a little short of center, you know, about two stories up. And so she walked in and was standing there looking at that water, and I thought, wonder what she's going to do. And she just dove right into the water. Water went in every direction to all of us. And I had to look up and see if Peggy was getting the picture, and she was on her back with her feet up in the air laughing. Funniest thing she had ever seen. Well, I didn't get any pictures of that wonderful scene either, with the poor little mentally retarded person in the water.